Cosi is about two men who make a bet with a third man that their girlfriends will be faithful all the time. The third man, Don Alfonso, says no they won't, and he will prove it. And he makes a bet with the two guys that he can make their girlfriends fall in love with other people. And he then disguises the two men as the other people, and they go off and woo their opposite. And in fact, Don Alfonso wins the bet. Our production takes place in 1913, and it's set in the Hotel del Coronado. And there are no scene changes, which means that the production moves incredibly quickly through the 24-hour time that it takes place. It starts in the morning and ends the following morning. The first Cosi was a long time. I was a really very young director in the opera, and I was given a set, and it was a period set. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is a frivolous piece, and I did it as a frivolous piece without ever understanding who the characters were. I staged it. I mean, it was nice. I mean, nobody bumped into each other, and it seemed to be all right. But I put in every cliche in the book, unwittingly. And it too was quite a good cast. And I realized after how really dreadful it was, and rethought it. And then I did it again in Dallas with another spectacular cast in a set that was in period and given, etc. It was a little better because I realized how dark the second act is and what happens to it. And so it was better. And then I went to Wolf Trap to do it and rethought the entire thing. And that's when this idea came about for the World War I. I see Cosi as a summer vacation. We've all had them when we're young. And you go off to your summer camp or your lodge or your cruise, and you have a little fling. You find a partner and you have a fling, and it's a great time. And then comes the time when the vacation is over and you have to go back to school or back to work, and you have to face the reality of your life. And that's what that's Cosi. These kids are on a vacation, and at the end of the opera, the vacation is over. They now have to go and be responsible for what they have done, and realize that, you know, when you fiddle around and you throw your love about so casually, that there's consequences to pay, and they have to do that. 1913 is the beginning of World War I, and after World War I, the world was never the same. The world had to take responsibility now for what it has done.
It's a great era to put Cosi in, because it talks about a certain naivete and a time before a great disaster is about to hit. Cosi, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to say it, is essentially a very dark opera. You know, the joke is great fun until the joke is turned and the joke is on the actual performers. You know, life kicks these guys in the butt rather badly, and they grow up. And it's sort of the first cut towards these characters, first cut in their souls, the first sort of blemish, the first sort of real dark, sinister experience that they have.
The set to me is very important in terms of my character, and I haven't explored every little corner that there is. It's a very simple set in that it doesn't change. It's a very easy set to understand, because it's, first of all, it's a landmark, a historic landmark, and it's a house. But as with any structure like that, there are nooks and crannies, and there are ways that you discover, oh, I can see this character after all, after when they're on stage, and oh, I can jump down 4 steps instead of 5 steps, and or maybe will this banister hold me? And it fills me, and I think it helps to fill the character of Guglielmo with a bit more of a sense of adventure, rather than just a squeaky clean sort of Euro-style set.
In no particular order, except from my left to this direction: Dean Peterson, Don Alfonso; Russell Brown, Guglielmo; Michael Schade, Ferrando; Cheryl Woods, Despina; Phyllis Pancella, Dorabella; and Jennifer Casey Havoc, Fiordiligi.
Guglielmo is one of the soldiers who are the young lovers, who is full of soldier and youthful testosterone, and gets challenged by his elder to see if his girlfriend Fiordiligi is really faithful. So he's not very complicated character. He doesn't have a complicated background, really, as far as I can tell. And as far as being a soldier is concerned, probably this challenge is the biggest challenge he's ever had. The women are of nobility, and so going to the army probably for him meant to gain some stature rather than actual, first-hand combat.
Ferrando is a young, sunny boy, a self-assured man, very much in love with life, and thinks that he's greatly in love with Dorabella at the outset, and ends up doing something very, very foolish, which is to wager on love, which one indeed should never do. And like many of the characters that are in the Da Ponte operas, and certainly in Mozart's plays, I say plays on purpose, not opera, because all the operas are wonderful theatrical pieces. He makes a real journey. And he makes an unfortunate journey, and I'm glad for him that he's young when he does it, because he really does something quite stupid. And he probably very much believes in the power of love. The problem for him is that he does something in the end that goes against his own character. When he goes and seduces Fiordiligi in the second act, he does it out of vengeance. And it's really quite sad, because I think they would have made a great couple, Fiordiligi and Ferrando.
feels very much like we're brothers in this show. It's interesting, with Pearl Fishers we had to always keep a sense of distance because there was obviously much more potential for animosity in the opera. Here, the animosity is very, in the opera, the animosity is very sudden and explosive, but we immediately have to realize that the only way we can get through with this is together.
Fiordaligi's character is a fun one for me to play because she is many things that I am and many things that I'm not, and it's fun to tap into those things. I would say she is a very restrained and proper and woman who cares an awful lot about doing what is right. You know, she takes being a noble woman very seriously, and also takes her engagement to Guglielmo very seriously. And so she has the hardest journey of the two sisters when she's tempted, and really feels like she has a lot to, you know, beat herself up about because she's feeling all these things for the first time and doesn't know how to do what's right.
Bella is the earthier of the two sisters, I would say. She certainly has better access to her sensuality. She doesn't have as far to go to consider the possibility of having a good time with a new person. And in this production, we show that a little bit in advance because she's always got kind of a wandering eye and is willing to take in the sights. She's also very happy to eat, drink, and be merry, and enjoys her life.
Consigliatele come le sonne, Bellissimi voi stella imparate, tutti accusano le donne e nello scuso se mille volte addicanno l'amore proprio vizio.
In my mind, it's unimportant, but in my mind, Alfonso is in fact the owner of the hotel. And these two young women are daughters of his old friend from Ferrara in Italy. And he looks upon the two boys as his sons, and he wants to set their minds straight, set their future straight, so they understand that there is a reality when you say, I love someone, and that there's a responsibility you have to take when you say that. And I think he's setting out to teach them as opposed to cynically say, oh, all women are unfaithful. Because you could easily say, well, all men are unfaithful. So, I mean, whether they're male or female is not the issue. The issue is you have to take responsibility for your actions, and he's trying to teach them that, as any parent would.
Despina mia, di te bisogna avrei,
e di un niente di lei.
Chi vuol fare del bene?
A una fanciulla, un vecchio cavallo cavallulla.
Al piano, che l'osserva.
Me lo vuole?
Sì, se meco se buono.
E che vorrebbe? E lo mio Giuseppe.
E non avrai ma ci vuol fedeltà.
Ma già il tuo salva.
Prendi ed ascolta.
What matters about Despina is you have to have a sense that she's been around, that she's been on the streets, and I don't mean as a prostitute, I mean she knows what the world is about. And she got this job as the maid for these two young women, probably through Alfonso. And I'm sure that the text implies that they've had a relationship, whether it's sexual or not, it doesn't matter. But there has been some friction between the two of them. And she sees an opportunity to earn a little money. And so she seizes it. The problem with Cosi in terms of preparing it is that the singers have to enter the world that is created and play the reality of it and not make jokes. And if you play, the girls buy these guys' disguises. I mean, we all say, come on. But in fact, they buy the disguises because they want to buy the disguises. They want this romance. They want this idea. So they buy them, and it's making sure that the singers understand that they can't comment on the action of it. They have to enter that world. We'll comment, they can't. That's the hardest challenge in Cosi, I found, because it's burdened with all kinds of crusty ideas.
Here we go.
What attracts me to Cosi is first and foremost the music. If one mentions Mozart, then one knows there's delights ahead. And certainly in Cosi fan tutte, that's the case. I think probably orchestrally and with each of the characters, there's more development of each character orchestrally than probably in any other Mozart opera. Although I've always thought of Figaro as my favorite Mozart, and I still feel a great affinity for it because of its storyline. But I have come with my added years to respect more deeply and certainly on a higher degree the core of what is Cosi, which I think for so many years was considered frivolous and a silly, stupid plot and story, and it truly isn't. It's a little bit too honest for people sometimes to really want to grasp. I think the orchestra and the orchestration of Cosi fan tutte is a little miracle in itself. With a very, very simple set of materials, let's say, the standard wind complement for an 18th century orchestra, double winds, 2 flutes, 2 oboes, 2 clarinets, 2 bassoons, 2 horns only, 2 trumpets, and a timpani, and then strings. We create this amazing and very deeply, richly textured piece, which is full of various arias, duets, trios, glorious ensembles, such as no one but Mozart can write. I don't know anyone who's equal to him in the writing of ensembles. Quintets, sextets, who else does that and does it so well? Mozart's vocal writing is, again, like all of Mozart, unique. And for the voice, it's an odd mix and a wonderful and a felicitous mix, I think, between a sort of orchestral writing and absolutely gorgeously extended lines where a singer must have impeccable technique and breath. It's a wonderfully healthy thing to sing, and yet you must be amazingly and wonderfully healthy to sing it.